Good evening and welcome to the second annual Rockne Memorial Society Spirits of Sports Awards celebration. My name is Len Clark of Irish 101 and Irish Illustrated, and it is my privilege to introduce to you this evening 9 individuals who exemplify the values and vision of a man's legacy that we remember here tonight, Rockne. Before we begin, please join me in thanking the staff of the Palais Ballroom and the Rockne Memorial Society for their hard work and generous hospitality in making this evening possible. Please enjoy yourself, but you might need some advice from Coach Rockne himself, who said, drink the first, sip the second slowly, and skip the third. At this time, I would like to bring on stage the Executive Director of the Rockne Memorial Society, Mr. Jim Lefebvre.
Thank you, Len. Welcome, everybody. Tremendous turnout. What a great event. We're so glad that you're all with us. And of course, it's owing largely to the tremendous list of honorees that we've assembled tonight. But we're so glad that you're all here to share this evening with them. It's amazing to think that the first Rockne Awards happened just last November 3rd. So just a little more than 10 months ago. And we're back here again for the second one, and it's bigger and better. We've added a few things, including a wonderful performance by the Glee Club, and hope you enjoy every minute of it and the chance to be with one another. When I reflect on Coach Rockne's strength, I always come back to a few core values. Number one is passion, the tremendous energy that he applied to every challenge that he faced throughout his life. And then there's vision, and Father touched on that. Rockne was a visionary. He was constantly trying to invent new ways, better ways of doing things. I think when you boil it down, though, his most enduring quality was simply human relations. He knew how to motivate people. He knew how to communicate. He knew how to get inside the other person's psyche. And what he really did was recognize the best in others and honor the best in others. And that's what we're doing here tonight. We're recognizing and honoring some outstanding individuals for their contributions, not to just athletics, but to the world in general. And in a larger sense, we're recognizing and honoring one another. We're coming together, we're renewing some old friendships in some cases, and wait till you hear this. Rock had a great friend and teammate named Gus Duray. Probably heard of Gus Duray. This evening, we have grandchildren of Gus Duray from 2 branches of the family, cousins that haven't seen each other in over 50 years, that are here tonight. And one of those descendants you'll be hearing about in a few minutes is one of our award winners, Bob Duray. He has teamed with Wisconsin sports author Joe Neese to create the first real biography of Gus Duray, and I believe they have a few copies in the back of the room if you want to seek them out. But that's the type of coming together that is so special joy of doing this type of work. The fact that we're all here together, the fact that we're celebrating. And I would like to, at the risk of overlooking a few, I would like to just acknowledge a few notables in our audience. And now I don't see her. Okay. The current Executive Director of the Notre Dame Alumni Association, Dolly Duffy. Dolly's predecessor in that job, the longtime head of the Alumni Association, Mr. Chuck Lennon. The current Deputy Director of Athletics at the University, Missy Conboy. And former Director of Athletics, Mr. Dick Rosenthal. Former President of the Alumni Association, President of the Monogram Club trustee, Mr. Dick Nussbaum. Did Dan make it here? Dan? There he is. This gentleman I have to thank in particular because he had the great wisdom to allow my two daughters to attend Notre Dame. And they both graduated with honors, so you picked right. Former Director of Admissions, Mr. Dan Saraceno. And did JT ever make it? No? Okay. His loss. We'll go from here and introduce a couple of my partners in this enterprise, founding board members of the Knute Rockne Memorial Society. They'll be up in a few minutes handing out the awards. From South Bend, Mr. Jim Augie Augustine. And also from South Bend, with a particular connection to the history because he is the grandson and namesake of one of Rockne's players in the 1924 National Championship team, Dr. Joe Harmon. Now, as I mentioned, the first Rockne Awards were last November 3rd, and it was a tremendous evening honoring the life and legacy of Coach Vera Parsegian. And we honored several of his players and staff members. The great Rocky Blyer gave a tremendous speech, which we all remember, those of us who were there. And we are graced with the presence of a couple of those 2017 award winners this evening. The winner of the 2017 Rockne Loyalty Award, Coach Brian Bulak. And then a recipient of the Lifetime Legend Award honoring Coach Parsegian, Mrs. Katie Parsegian. So as you can see, you don't have to look far in this audience to find some tremendous individuals in their own right, but again, I think Rock would love the fact that we're all coming together, we're honoring the best in one another, we're celebrating, and I think really doing some great things in his name. And you're going to hear about one of those efforts in just a minute. I first have to do just a little bit of business and point out that we have donation cards on every table to help support the Knute Rockne Memorial Society, and this evening also help support a couple of Coach McGraw's charities, the Pink Zone, Fighting Cancer, and Indiana YWCA Empowering Women. We're glad to have a table of representatives from that organization. The individual who will next be up on stage is another co-founding member of the Knute Rockne Memorial Society. He is a 1991 graduate of Notre Dame. He has spent his career in the film industry and has, I think, a very interesting presentation and announcement for you. From Shoreview, Minnesota, Mr. Mike Knute.